Welcome back to PH.d TV, and today I'm going to talk about 5 of what I believe are the saddest scenes in movie history. Alright, so I'm not going to say these are the saddest of all time. In fact, this is all opinionated, so I'm not even going to declare these as fact. But I am going to declare that these are probably scenes that you got sad at. And if you haven't seen it, you probably are going to get sad. And starting in no particular order, I'm going to say that the scene of It's Not Your Fault in Good Will Hunting stands as one of the great sad scenes of all time.
Holy shit. This is not your fault. Look at me, son. It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault.
I know.
No, you don't. It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault.
All right.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Don't fuck with me. It's not your fault.
Don't fuck with me, all right? Don't fuck with me, Sean. Not you.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
The reason of what makes this one so sad to me is that it's a character study. It's not that anyone died. And it's not that there's really anything happening in the movie at this point in time that is extravagant, nothing that is super duper exciting, truly. That's probably the best word to use. It's just two guys talking in a room. But the thing is, you have two actors who were both nominated for an Oscar for giving roles that were just out of the ballpark wonderful. Matt Damon in his first major role in lead, and the one that Robin Williams wins Best Supporting Actor for. But what happens is that the character of Will, played by Matt Damon, has a breakthrough in therapy with his therapist, played by Robin Williams, to the point that he realizes that the pain and suffering that he felt growing up was not his fault, and that he is not to blame himself any further because it's not his fault. And for the first time in the entire movie, Matt Damon's character, Will Hunting, lets go and forgives himself in a crying scene that, to me, I think is one of the best crying scenes in actors' performance in most movies I've ever seen. And I'm not really the world's biggest Matt Damon fan. I like Matt Damon, but I don't follow his career aggressively. But it's a performance moment that is just outstanding in terms of character development, what it means to the story of the movie, two wonderful actors that are just absolutely giving their all. And you're also in this mix of you're sad because of what he's feeling, but you're also happy sad for the revelation of a man who just let go of his past to forgive himself. The next one on this list is going to be a little bit more blatantly sad, but for two different aspects. For one, it's a movie that has to deal with the Holocaust, and debatably, if not factually in this instance, the best movie about the Holocaust, Schindler's List. And it's the fact that Liam Neeson's performance, on top of the subject matter being about the Holocaust, and the fact that his character, Oscar Schindler, is regretful to the fact he did not save enough lives with what he tried to do to save the Jewish people in all these concentration camps. That no matter how many thousands he saved, he himself still never believed it was enough, and he breaks down in front of those he did save, to the point to where he's just not consolable.
Hebrew from the Talmud, it says, whoever saves one life saves the world entire.
could have got more. I don't know if I just... I could have got more.
Oscar, there are 1,100 people who are alive because of you. Look at them.
If I'd made more money. I threw away so much money. You have no idea. If I just...
There will be generations because of what you did.
I didn't do enough.
You did so much.
This car. Kurt would have bought this car. Why did I keep the car? 10 people right there. 10 people. 10 more people. This pin. 2 people. This is gold. 2 more people. He would have given me 2 for it. At least 1. He would have given me 1. 1 more. 1 more person. A person stand. For this. I could have got 1 more person. And I didn't. I didn't.
And the whole movie, which is one of the most beautifully poignant, depressingly beautiful, pivotal films in cinema and Steven Spielberg's career, it has this slow build up to this moment that no matter how hard one person could try, sometimes you just don't have that feeling that you did enough. And a lot of that is because of the regret we feel when we realize we may have started something too late. All right, and the next choice is actually for the dog lovers who watch this video. All right, so this one's gonna be for the dog lovers, as I said. So I could actually, for me personally, I could say that the ending of the movie Togo debatably could have been the winner of this video's choice for me, because when I saw that movie, I was pretty inconsolable, and I don't know why, I don't know what happened. I cry in movies on occasion, but not so much where when I generally cry in a movie, it's like a tear or 2, but this one was an absolute punch to the gut for me. But I'm gonna say that that is not gonna be the dog movie that made people cry the most. That might have just been for me. But I'll tell you this, the movie that I'm gonna be choosing here is Marley and Me. And I watched this movie as a dog owner, not necessarily recently, but I watched it recent enough. When the movie came out the first time, I was younger, I'd had dogs, but it was like a family dog. It wasn't my dog. But then now, as I've grown older, I have my own pets, 2 of them. I now can watch that movie in a more exploratory sense and empathetic sense as Owen Wilson's character, not only being a family man, trying to have a family, trying to build a life, working on being employed and having jobs that provide for the family. I can also empathize being the dog owner and realizing that one day, like the end of the movie, when the dog passes away, like about all dog movies do, I can empathize to the degree that that is gonna be a moment in my life that I am gonna hate when it happens. Thankfully, it's probably not gonna be for another 10 years, I hope. But the thing is, I really feel that for the mass majority of people, the ending of Marley and Me is one of the big gut-wrenching moments, because I know where the red fern grows, both dogs die and they're buried together and the red fern grows. Then you have Old Yeller, but not every person has to put a dog down because of rabies. But I would say most dog owners do have to go to the animal hospital and probably sit there and watch their dog pass. So therefore, the relatability of this movie and the end scene to me is what stands out as the pivotal dog movie sadness.
It's okay. You don't have to do anything. You don't have your usual energy. Remember how we were always saying what a pain you are? You're the world's worst dog. Don't believe it. Don't believe it even for a minute. As you know, we couldn't find a better dog. You know what made you such what? That's an amazing thing. You know how much we love you. Love you so much. Love you more than anything. I don't know exactly where we go from here. I want you to remember you're a great dog, Marley. You're a great dog.
He won't feel this, he'll just slip away. You ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
And now this one, technically this story has been told multiple times and they're all kind of wrapped up into one category. And the movie is A Star is Born. And this story has been around since, I believe it's the 1920s or at least 30s. There's been 4 adaptations, the most recent being the Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper version. So I don't feel like I'm in spoiler territory at this point. But to me, it's the way it is done in the Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga version that I feel is the most effective. So of course, if you don't know the story, Bradley Cooper's character, the rock star, who's already established, is a big alcoholic and has several drug issues, meets Lady Gaga's character, brings her to the limelight, especially with the fact that he sees the talent that she has, builds her career up while his is going down, and ultimately he feels like he is going to hinder her in the long run because of his bad habits and having a hard time dealing and battling with sobriety, or battling addiction and keeping up with his sobriety. He ultimately, I'll say, harms himself in the instance of being courteous to those on YouTube, leaving Lady Gaga's character behind to have her own career without him. And so there's this big moment at the very end, the climax of the movie, where she sings a song that is absolutely beautiful called I'll Never Love Again. Lady Gaga's the performance, and she has this powerhouse voice, and it's just a powerhouse. But as you get to the final chorus, after the music has swollen, after the music has done this and that to really make this the big ending moment, the showstopper, it shows in a quick cut, rather than Lady Gaga ending the scene singing, it's actually Bradley Cooper singing it to her, showing us that the song that she is singing in this massive climax was actually written for her by him, and he's performing it to her before he had passed away. And you go from powerhouse vocals to the sweet melody and sweet softness of an intimate moment between two characters who are massively in love and have this just intimate moment of privacy that we get to just look in on. And again, it's sad. All 4 versions of A Star is Born has that sadness where the male love interest passes away and dies by the end of the movie. But because of the editing choice to quickly flip the script and show that he was the one who wrote the song, and that's how the movie ends on such a quiet note. And though it is so quiet, it simply speaks louder than anything that Lady Gaga could have sung. And I'm not gonna lie, that was also one of those movies where my wife looked over to me in the theater and saw that one single tear.
let the sunlight in. Oh, I'll never love again. Never love again. Never love again. Oh, I'll never love again.
And number 5 for this list, and again, this is in no specific order, but this one is actually one that, of course, is sad to everyone on a principle level. But when this movie came out in 2009, I was like 13, and I knew it was sad, but there was no empathy as an adult when watching this scene. And this was one of the first few moments, if not my first moment ever in a theater, where you could hear popcorn hit the floor. Everyone was so quiet. It is the very first 10 minutes of Up when Carl meets Ellie, they get married, and you see through this musical montage of their entire marriage to Ellie's passing, Carl growing old without her, to pretty much where the movie really technically starts. But this is the thing, this is what really inspired this video mainly, is because now that I am older, now that I'm not 13 years old in 2009, but I'm actually almost turning 28 in 2024, as a married man, I was scrolling on YouTube and someone did a review video on that one scene and I watched it. And I don't know what happened, but I guess it's because now I can empathize. I can put myself in Carl's shoes as a man who loves his wife, as a man who envisions the trials and tribulations of things that Carl goes through and hopefully doesn't have to go through. But I'm not gonna lie, it almost broke open a whole new idea of, I'll put it this way, I thought to myself, was Up really made for kids or was it made for adults? Because it's a movie ultimately about losing a loved one, a married loved one specifically, and learning to live with a happiness after the fact. And though I've not been married to my wife the length of Carl and Ellie, that movie simply just has a better appreciation for me because it did a better job telling a story about a marriage in 10 minutes than most movies do with a 2-hour runtime. And again, those are just 5 movies that I believe have some of the saddest scenes of all time in cinema. I'm not saying that they are the best of all time, but just what I believe are some of all time. And they're not in any specific order. Again, I said that before. They're just ones I think are really, 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 really
Sad.
And tell me what you think. Do you agree with my choices? And let me ask you this. What are some movies that you think are really sad? What are some scenes that stand out as that's the one that gets you to shed a tear? That's the one that gets you to really think about life in a really empathetic sense. Just put down below the sad scene. I'll be happy to look them up. If I've seen them, I'll comment with you. I'm curious, just comment down below, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and check out all my other videos. Again, you can check those out on my channel on PH.d TV. And again, this has been PH.d TV. I'll see you next time.